Enter at your own risk, proceed with caution, and do it anyway, and then you'll figure it out. Welcome to you, my name's Dale and this is Dale's Addiction. Today I'm bringing you a Q&A and I have 3 sources for my Q&A questions. So randomly I will put something on my Instagram story, so you can follow me there at Dales_addiction. You could also choose to join my channel. So when you start following me, you'll get an invitation, and on my channel I have more, let's say, behind the scenes conversations with my followers, and I do polls and ask questions and share little insider tips and sneak peeks about what I'm looking at and buying. So feel free to join me there. And obviously here on YouTube, where you can subscribe to my channel and then you can see my community post where I will ask you if you've got any questions. This is going to be an epic video. I expect that it will be treated somewhat like a podcast because there's a lot of questions. Thank you so much for the interest you've taken in asking these. I'm going to start on my channel called Behind the Scenes, Dale's Addiction, because that's my newest area. So here we go. Mrs. Helson, 1903. Can I please ask how you wear blazers in such a warm climate? I boil. So if you are following me here on Instagram, you'll see my outfit of the day. In terms of the blazers I wear, I have different blazer construction and fabric for different times in the year. I live in a subtropical climate. The temperature right now, let me tell you, it is 19.1 degrees Celsius and I have broken out the cashmere. Yes. So that is an important contextual element. A lot of my blazers that I wear are very light, either linen blazers, so I'll just grab a couple. So I've grabbed a few samples for you. This one is linen, and it is, I'd say, a medium weight, so it's like it's quite a light linen, but it is lined. The thing that I don't like about women's blazers, particularly summer blazers, unlike men's, is that men can get a half lining where they're lined through the sleeves and across the top of the shoulder and like halfway down the back. The rest is unlined, but the hems are finished, and it's great for summers. And I think they come about through, like, say, summer racing days and those sorts of things where you're outside, you've got to wear a jacket, but they're nice and light. For women, we pay more for worse quality fabric and lining, and it is hot, I get it. This is another favourite of mine. It's from an Australian label called Victoria and Woods. It's made in Australia. It's a really lovely quality blazer in black. It has a nice long lapels. I just find that this is lined in a really lovely fabric. I don't know what it's made of. Okay, so this is a summer wool blazer. So there we go. Natural fibres all the way. And the next one I want to show you is one of my favourites. This is Camilla, the label, and this one is also a linen floral blazer and a really light lining. I think you might be able to see if I open it up. You can almost see through it. It's really light. So they are great options for summer blazers. The other thing you can do is buy a men's blazer because they're typically constructed in a much lighter fabric. This is the one that Nick from the channel Living Life Loud with Nick J. Snell influenced me to buy. I said to him, please tell me it's light. I cannot buy a blazer that is not light, and he confirmed that it was, and I'm pleased to say it actually is. So he's based in the UK. What I love about these is they're really light construction, but they also have great pockets so that you can wear your mini bags and not have to leave anything at home. Okay, Zoem_AU. How do you store your bags living in Queensland? Issues with humidity and mold. Well, I store my bags, as you can see here, so there's a lot of space for air to flow between them. I'm conscious of what materials I put side by side, and I make sure that they do have breathing space. Open shelving is a must, I think, in Queensland. The other thing is, I live in a style of housing called a Queenslander. These houses have been made for air circulation, and this house is approaching 100 years old at the front half of it, and so The design of the house, by virtue of the fact that it's raised up off the ground, even though we've built in underneath, it has great air flow and ventilation, so I don't find problems with humidity at all. For some of my larger bags that I keep in enclosed kind of shelving, inside of the bags I buy these silica gel packs from Amazon, and I just put them inside of the bag in a dust bag, so that there's a little bit of, you know, management happening there, I suppose. But realistically, yeah, I don't have any problems with humidity and mold because the house is up off the ground. A lot of places that are set on a concrete slab would have that issue. We don't. Liv_4. Where do you think prices will be in 5 years' time? # more Chanel increases. It's a good question, Liv. I never thought 5 years ago they'd be where they are now. I think it's all relative. I think it depends on the role that luxury continues to play, and if you think about how long luxury or brands have tried to set themselves apart based on quality and exclusivity, then I think they will continue to rise, and the people that enjoy those pieces, that brand and that narrative, will continue to buy them. I think Chanel is playing a bit of catch up. I think they probably lost some ground, you know, for those years probably between 2015 and say 2020, and they have rapidly tried to make up for that, haven't they? Geraldine Vance. Hi Geraldine. If you had to pick a trip over your holy grail bag, which is it? I think the trip. I love travel, and I love to travel in a particular kind of way, if you get my drift. And the thing I've learned with luxury handbags is there's always something else, and there's always something else. Even if you're not looking, there's something else. So definitely I would take the trip for sure. Geraldine also asks, why do you think holes remain popular? I think holes are popular for a few reasons. I think, you know, luxury is such a niche area on YouTube, and I think the voyeuristic part of watching a haul means that you can get the dopamine hit without having to spend any money. I think that's the simple science behind it. And I've actually been involved in some conversations with people who have said, like, I just don't get it. I don't get how people can watch people unboxing, i.e. opening a package, unpacking their shopping, and get a hit from it. And I've witnessed people say why they do, and it's literally, it gives me a hit. It's a bit of escapism. I don't spend any money, but I still get the pleasure out of the whole experience. So I think that's part of it. I can't pretend to speak on behalf of people that I am not. I have to say I don't particularly enjoy just watching opening boxes all the time. I want to see how the pieces are integrated into a person's lifestyle and wardrobe. That's where I get my greatest inspiration from, but that's why I buy luxury, to wear it, not just to own it. So it's hard. I think there's lots of reasons why people watch hauls, but I do think the dopamine hit is definitely a big one. I attended a conference on resilience the other day, and they talked about, you know, to seek resilience, it's important that you manage your daily dose. Dose being spelled D for dopamine, O for oxytocin, S for serotonin, and E for endorphins. But the reality is that you've got to have the combination of all of those things. If you're just looking for happiness by dopamine hit, it's probably not going to work out so well for you in the long term, or your bank account in this case. The Handbag Nerd. You haven't used a bag in a while. Do you create an outfit or a reason? Yes, I do. I think last week, it was last Friday actually, I'll put the what do you call it? What am I trying to say? Outfit of the day post. I'll put that up. I was going to work for the day. Then I got an invitation to go to a Fendi event. I had to be comfortable through the day, but it's casual Friday. And then I wanted to kind of represent at Fendi as well, because they always ask you to wear Fendi to those events. But when I put my outfit together in terms of how the combination of pieces was working, it was clear to me it was a great opportunity to wear my Louis Vuitton Capucine, as you can see in the picture. That bag doesn't get worn a lot. What I wanted to do was wear my my pink Galusha Peekaboo here, but I thought that was going to add just another level of pop that I didn't think worked as well, nor the size of that bag given the oversized blazer. So I stuck with the Capucine, and because it was an opportunity to wear it, and I'm really glad that I did, because I think that outfit worked really well together. Having a pink handbag would have just been wearing a pink handbag for the sake of it, and that's not how I like to kind of pull my outfits together. Purse_Esquire, are there any colours you would never buy in a bag? Look, I've just made a video about never saying never and all the hypocritical purchases that I have made and love, but there are colours I dislike. They are yellow, orange, red, brown. All warm colours. There's a reason for that, because when I've had my colours done, warm colours don't really work for me. I can get away with some warm pinks, I can get away with warm colours away from my face, but the reality is those colours don't tend to go with the other clothes I have in my wardrobe, because they're all on the cooler side of things. So that is the scientific reason why I wouldn't buy those, which kind of backs up my just personal dislike for those colours. Form over function. Has your passion for luxury ever lost your friendship? I don't know if it was the direct reason for losing a friendship, but yes, it has. I had a friend of 25 years who was going through a pretty tough time as I was finding my feet and finding who I was and experimenting with both my clothing and my, luxury handbags and shoes. And she and I used to watch Sex and the City together, and we used to, revel in the delights of the outfits and things. As a result of her circumstances, she became more of a thrifter, and I was still, going to stores and having a lovely time. And I strongly believe that one of the reasons that she chose to end our friendship, so it wasn't like we just drifted away, it was a conversation, was very much that she said to me it was hard. It was hard to be around me whilst I was living that life that she couldn't at that point in time. And yeah, it was really sad. It still is sad, but I think the reality is that that is her perspective and she's allowed to have it. I don't focus on things that I can't control, and it probably makes me appear a little bit cold. It's not that I am, it's just that I've been very independent from a very young age for reasons that I won't talk about here. And as a result of that, I don't fuss over things I can't control. Another question from you, the biggest purchase regret ever? I'd have to say it's rare that I have purchase regrets. I call them lessons, but I think as much as I love a Burberry trench, buying that Kensington trench in the honey, knowing that it wasn't exactly what I wanted, I'll put a mod shot over here, was probably regretful. I probably should have just gone without or bought a non-luxury dupe until such time as Burberry re-released the elusive stone colour with black buttons. That's all I want, please. I'm making it work, but I wish I didn't have to, because I really, really love styling a trench coat, and having the right one just makes it effortless. And one more question from you, how do you deal with the pressure of creating content? That's a good question, and I think that's something that I've been mulling over probably more than I ever have for the last few months. And the reason for that is that I have, I guess, been doing a bit of soul searching around. I know what content gets views and, consequently makes income, but I don't enjoy watching it and I don't enjoy making it. So once I revisited my purpose for joining YouTube and what kind of content I want to share, it made it really simple to not find any pressure in it. And I think I've talked in my last few videos around kind of changing the schedule. I'm kind of throwing that out. I'm recording topics that I'm genuinely enthusiastic about when I can, and I'm excited to do so, and I have the time. And yeah, and so you will always get genuinely authentic, enthusiastic content from me rather than it being a chore. And then finally, the Handbagholic. Hi Steph. And Steph, I hope by the time this video goes live you are celebrating 100,000 subscribers. Super well deserved. An amazing YouTuber, a great strategist, and if she's not offering consulting on YouTube strategy, she should be, because she's amazing. What are your 3 favourite bags and what are your 3 most worn bags? I feel like that one is probably a video in and of itself, because otherwise this one will go even longer. So I'm going to hold that one, and I'm going to answer that one in a video. So thanks for the great idea, Steph. So the next set of questions that I'm going to answer are from Instagram stories. From Emma Webb, what is a brand or bag style you don't believe you will ever own and why? Again, very, very tongue-in-cheek answer, because we know that I have reneged on many things I've said never to. But bag or brand style? What is a brand, or bag style? YSL, I've mentioned a bunch of times, does nothing for me because it is so neutral. And I think a lot of their bag designs look like brand bag designs from other brands. So yes, I think YSL. And I know that I have some fabulous subscribers here who are used to me saying that and hate when I say it, and sorry not sorry. 408 California 408. Hey babe, if you could only keep 5 bags, go. Oh my god, like this is, why? So cruel. If I could only keep 5. Oh. I'm going to renege on my I'm not sentimental, because this one I am. My Petite Boîte Chapeau that my husband bought for me. My Fendi small peekaboo in the beautiful violet colour. My Louis Vuitton Petit Mal in ostrich lilac. My Fendi Purple Rain sequin baguette inspired by Sex and the City. This is so hard, but I need a wicker piece. And my Louis Vuitton Wicker Capucine BB and Gary, because who's going to look after Gary? Obviously, that's at a point in time being right now. For me, I think luxury is all of those things. It's fun, it's extra, it's impractical, and it makes you feel good. If I was choosing to keep 5 bags, they wouldn't be practical bags. I can buy practical bags anywhere. Okay, this username, Yarn Addict Annie. Could you afford your luxury lifestyle, designer bags, etc. if you were single? Not to this extent, I could not. I think very much so. The single ladies who are doing it on their own are doing a stellar job when you think about the power of combined income and the decision that you have open to you with a combined income as opposed to a single income. The insurance you have, like certainly for me, starting my own business and being in a space where we had my husband's monthly salary coming in meant that I didn't have to survive to the extent that you do when you don't have a backup plan. So definitely not, but I still in my own right was purchasing luxury way before we were together. So I do think that there would be an element in my life always. It would just probably be stripped back a little bit. It's Cameron Garrison. You know I love a stripe, honey. I was wearing this top in the when I asked for questions and I'm wearing it again, so you're welcome. He also asks, oh, no questions, but this outfit is super cute. Thank you. I thought it was too. This is a Chinty and Parker cashmere sweater. I bought it like well over 6 months ago. Farfetch had a sale. It was in my cart, and then when it qualified for an extra 20% off, I bought this and a Snoopy one. I unboxed them on my channel. It was the height of summer. Like, I knew that I'd have to wait, and yeah, it's been worth it. I love this. It's so soft and snuggly, and yeah, fits right up my playful vibe lifestyle. Carolina Des, how do you see your handbag collection evolving from now on? I don't look at my handbag collection as an evolution. I've literally just done a video on how YouTube has influenced my luxury handbag collection, and I will link that one in the description box below. And it's been really interesting to see. At the beginning, I guess I always liked different things. Did I have the confidence or the dollars to do what I do now? No. Did I dream of doing what I do now? No, also. So I don't really sit there and go, what's next? How do I evolve and take it up a notch? I literally just go with what I'm drawn to. I'm very impulsive. I don't have a plan. It's probably quite obvious by what you see behind me. If I think about, you know, when I have my free time, when I'm scrolling Instagram, when I'm talking to people and friends that I have met through this platform, I'm constantly kind of reflecting, but I'd say I edit more. There's a lot of things that are easy for me to say, no, not interested, not for me, doesn't work. More so than that's for me, I love it, that's different, I want to see it, I want to get my hands on it. I don't know if I've answered your question there, but I don't have a plan. So it's hard to consider how it might evolve moving forward. Melinda from Luxpurse Love, how you doing? And thanks for your question, and congratulations on 30,000 subscribers. That's amazing. If it's not too personal, why don't you enjoy Christmas? The short story of that, and I'm happy to share, is that, you know, several years ago, me, like a whole bunch of other people in this world, my family just disintegrated, and I think Christmas was one of those things that held, you know, so many of us together. Or is that the right word? My family disintegrated, and Christmas was no longer a priority for everybody. And I think we're not religious, so it's not a religious holiday for us. It's just about being together. And when people's lives become more complicated and people can't be together, or can but choose not to, it's not a priority for them, it's actually a bit hurtful, to be honest. And a part of my coping strategy is just to simply avoid it now, because I think it is, whilst there's so much to be grateful for, Christmas is about being together and nothing else. It's not about gifts, maybe it's about food. And that's a choice that not everyone takes with the same level of commitment. I find it really hard. So it's a method of self-protection to be the Grinch. The Grinch loves Christmas but struggles with people. MWade_Lux, how you doing? What are your hobbies outside of luxury and travel? My hobbies. Well, I wouldn't say, is luxury a hobby? I don't know. I love to play in my wardrobe. I love pulling outfits together. I love creating new looks with things that I already have. I love to play around in the kitchen and cook. In fact, I've got a vlog. If it hasn't already gone live, it will soon. Cooking a viral TikTok recipe, which was so delicious. I'm just interested. I love gardening when I feel like it. And the trouble here in the subtropics is that if we do get a really rainy summer, then you do a lot of gardening, but it's not joyful at all, because it's just weeds and trying to save the roses from going rotten, and yeah, just pruning constantly and not really being able to enjoy it because it's raining all the time. So everything grows, but you can't be outside. So yeah, I do enjoy having a lovely garden, and it's not complicated, but yeah, I do enjoy it. So most of my hobbies are creative ones, very much so. MSS Inda, what's the best trip you've taken and why? I think like the trip that I took last September was just amazing with my husband, and then being able to meet up with friends in London and then travel on to Paris with Meredith was just, yeah, it was a great trip. Like that's probably, I would say, the best trip in terms of a whole rounded experience. One of the other best trips I've ever taken was my first trip to Italy with Mr. Addiction, because we were adventuring together, and I think, you know, going to the other side of the world with a new language and not being familiar with things, and enjoying it. Someone not taking, you know, the free ride. Like, we're a good partnership when we travel. We don't like to book everything up. We like to have free time, and we like to be impulsive, and we like to be adventurous. And I think we make, you know, great connections with people when we travel as well. So I think that was the first time we realised, oh, we're really good at this together. Like, it's really joyful. So yeah, they would be my two highlights. And they both included Italy, so there you go. Stacey LV214, what advice can you give about learning your handbag style to save from costly luxury mistakes? Oh, you're not going to like my advice. It's just, you can't learn by getting it right all the time. You tend to learn by getting it wrong. So I would say enter at your own risk, proceed with caution, and do it anyway, and then you'll figure it out. I don't think anyone can tell you what's right and wrong for you. Yeah, and certainly in my reflection from my own journey, listening to people tell me what I should have didn't serve me well. None of those bags are in my collection. Hinson87, how you doing? What is your favourite place in Australia and why? Well, my favourite place is right here. In terms of a place to live, I think Brisbane is amazing. We've got a lovely vibe. It's a smallish city, but it's got a lot to offer. It's within an hour of the Gold Coast, surfers paradise, beautiful beaches, a bit more built up and commercial, and it's also within an hour of the Sunshine Coast, which is more laid back, relaxed, tropical vibes. You can see the one that I lean towards. I really don't like the Gold Coast, but I love the Sunshine Coast. Queensland is a fabulous place to live, and it's on the east coast of Australia, so it's not as remote. If you said to me, where are some of your favourite places ever in Australia, regardless of the lens through which to live, I would say I love Melbourne. I love the energy of Melbourne. I love Tasmania, where I grew up, but I would not live there again. It's too small and cold. I love the Great Kimberley region, the outback, the red dirt. It is spectacular, and so many people just don't bother going there, and I love that about it. I love the fact that it's a great secret and, you know, in many ways undiscovered. And if you've been, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Amour d'Orange, the Capucine or Petit Mal. Love your new purchases. I assume you're asking me which one I prefer. That's a tough one. They're both so different, but I do have to say my first love was definitely with the Petit Mal. So my first love was definitely with the Petit Mal, not this one, but it took me a long time to find the right Petit Mal for me. The Capucine I've had for a little while, this one in particular, and not used it so much. And I think that's been about challenging my own mindset. This is the one I referred to earlier, in terms of where I can use it and how I style it. And now that I don't have to lug around my office in my handbag, I can choose any bag really to wear any day of the week. And corporate environment or not, I don't care. I wear my bags. I just do, whether that's right or wrong or a problem for people. I really don't care. It's just a part of who I am. And so for me, they are both gorgeous. This one I haven't worn out and about yet, and I need to. But this one, I'm getting better at choosing it. And it's a beautiful dusty denim blue, looks great with so many things. So yeah, certainly excited about wearing it more. Nikki B. What advice can you give me on how to be more confident? Oh, look, get to know yourself, I think. Knowing your values and your purpose, what you stand for, helps you to be more self-actualized, because you're not doubting yourself and your intentions. You don't connect yourself to your success based on what your job is, who you're in a relationship with, who your friends are, what members of clubs you're in. You just know who you are as a person. And you get to that by just having, I'd say, some very challenging experiences, having great people come into your life, having not so great people come into your life, and making hard choices. I have to say, filming yourself on YouTube, and I might look like I'm confident when I do mod shots and things like that when I get new bags. Trust me, it took me a long time to like what I saw on the screen, and even then I could nitpick the hell out of my appearance and my size and what have you, but it doesn't, who else cares? And if I care, I'm letting it control me. So I think it's desensitizing yourself to the side of yourself that you really don't see. Do you hear yourself talk out loud a lot? Do you have to edit yourself on a video and cringe at, you know, some of your facial expressions? Or yeah, there's lots of things that YouTube and taking photos for Instagram has taught me about myself. And as you probably know from watching my videos, I'm less inclined to edit that stuff out now, because I feel like I can't edit myself in real life. So I may as well just get used to what everyone else sees all the time. And I think there's a confidence that comes from that. And oddly, when people tell you they don't like you on YouTube, there's a confidence that comes from knowing that there's people out there, even though they're kind of faceless, that will tell you that, because there's people that are very close to you in your life that will pretend that actually think otherwise. So yeah, I quite like the fact that sometimes, you know, people will say something nasty, and I'm like, cool, I've always wondered if that was the case, and now I know. And I don't care, because they don't know you. So they're my tips. Become a YouTuber. Oh, Melinda's back too. Do you have a favourite dog or love them the same? They are so cute. Oh, look, that is such a hard one, because my puppers have been with me through different stages of my life. So my first grown-up dog, her name was Tuxiloo or Tuxedo or Tuxilucious, or you know, a multitude of pet names. I found her in a pound when I lived in a far western remote mining town at the top of Western Australia, and we didn't know what she was going to turn into. She was a funny looking dog, but yeah, she was with me from 22 to, you know, my mid-30s, and yeah, she's a very special part of my life. My family used to joke that she had travelled more than most of them, which was true. Then we have our lovely Alfie, the most precious little guy, who we lost last September. Just an absolute giver. And all he wanted in return was to put his head in your lap and just, you know, get a pat. And as soon as you stopped touching him, he would jump away and be like, okay, you've had enough, that's fine. Just so accommodating. Edwina, I have to say, from the moment she came into our house, we had the other two dogs at the same time. So she was the third, and she just ruled the roost. And she's such a funny looking little scruffy, weird dog with so much personality. I've got to say that she has been one of my favourites. Like, she's just... And watching her now with Lulu, like, she reminds me a lot of what happened with Alfie when she came along. Is that their pack mentality. They change their whole personality as they become the elder in the pack. But she's still, like, she makes these funny noises, and she's just gorgeous, and she's kind of like a cat. She gets sick of people or children in particular, and she just walks off, and she's just like, I've had enough. And yeah, I'd have to say definitely Edwina is one of my favourites, the Weens. And Lulu is just everything we hoped she would be. From the minute we saw that Yorkie in Sicily, soon after Alfie had passed, and we both knew that we wanted a dog that was like Edwina, like a scruffy, fun little thing that did zoomies and then slept and snuggled. And when we found Lulu, like, I think we just had so many hopes about how she was going to be, and she is just brilliant. She's so funny and sweet and so cute with all that hair, and it's so silky and it doesn't fall out. Yeah, they've all been very, very special, but I have to say having two girls, which I thought would have been a bit tricky, has actually been surprisingly wonderful. So thank you. Lucy_K_O. You have to rename Connor. What would he be? Oh, God, I don't know. For some reason, the first thing that came to mind was Klaus, because of how he says Hermes, and I thought he could have like a French name that started with C. Klaus. Dawn asks, do you ever buy a replica before buying the real thing just to see if a bag suits you? Never, ever, ever, ever. Then I'd have to buy the thing twice, right? And a part of my Sagittarian nature is I'm quite adventurous, and so I just jump in head first and I buy what I want. Look, I'm not that flippant. I do think a lot about whether or not it's the right thing for me based on what it costs and how practical it is. But I have to say, typically speaking, I never go half in. It's all in or nothing. I'm looking at the time. We're at 45 minutes. Can you believe it? And I'm not even through all of the Instagram questions. So I'm going to break this one into two parts. Thank you so much if you've stayed with me this far for this first part of the podcast. I know there's a lot more questions to come, and I don't want to do them a disservice. So I feel like you'll watch this when you feel like watching it. And I hope you do. And I hope that it's interesting to you. Come back for part 2 by making sure that you subscribe to my YouTube channel so you know when I pop it up. Post it. That's the thing. Post it. All right. I'll see you in part 2.